Good morning, Kansas City, and welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. I'm Kevin Keatsman, and I am not preparing for a winter storm in any way, shape, or form. I refuse to. We're out of town here for a few days, working in sunny Arizona, where the Royals are training, and we're going to take in a couple of ball games this week. And we're working while we're here, which is a great part of this job, to always be able to go somewhere and broadcast from said locale. And indeed, we are in that spot. And whatever happens, happens. Sorry to hear that 70-mile-an-hour winds are coming and maybe 1 to 3 inches of snow. My shovel will be tucked away in the garage. Thank you very much. We got a great show lined up for you today, including perhaps the single stupidest statements ever from Eric Swalwell, who says some really stupid stuff. The Democrat congressman talking about the war in Ukraine and Russia, he has taken the cake with stupidity. We'll get into the money, the monetary, the percentages of the Missouri State Stadium bill that has been proposed by a representative from Jackson County named Mark Sharp and a couple of other legislators. And the Chiefs have met with a running back that could be a good fit. We'll talk about all that ahead on Uncanceled, where we start today with the politics of the moment and instant gratification. And that's really what this game has become. And I'm going to pick out examples on both sides today to demonstrate the point of how we all buy into things that are just politics of the moment. The classic example is what Pete and Mark were just talking about a couple of moments ago, and that is Volodymyr Zelensky has now tweeted out that he's ready to go to the negotiating table, and he wants peace, and he wants specifics on no fly, no drones, no missiles, all this, while we negotiate a deal. That's the easiest thing in the world, to say, let's take 30 days and stop and see if we can negotiate this out. That's called good faith. That was going to happen, but the politics of the moment that happened on Friday and then over the weekend just continued to give instant gratification to the players in the game. That's all it was. I'm sure Trump didn't like what happened, but he probably felt good about the aftermath, knowing that Zelensky would have to come to the table. Zelensky, like a little 7-year-old, threw his tantrum, kicked and screamed, and acted like a big man, and then went to Europe and thought he was going to get a lot of help from Europe. And Europe's like, well, we just don't have the money that they have in the United States, so we can't really do what they've been doing for you. So the instant gratification for some of the people involved in this was there in the politics of the moment, but it doesn't end that way. We knew where this was going. Volodymyr Zelensky is out of options. This war is not going to continue without the United States funding it. The Democrats are no longer in charge. The party of war is no longer in charge in the United States, and they are the party of war. We'll tie that in later with Eric Swalwell, because he's really upset this thing could be coming to an end. But the politics of war are great for the Democrat Party, and that's what they're all about, and it is over. And so we see this, and we know that it's going to come to an end. And I think there probably was an ultimatum on this deal that Trump said, you're going to come out and say you want peace, you're coming back to the table with some specifics before I take that podium tonight and give this speech before Congress. And if you don't, we're out. We're just out. If we stay in, we'll negotiate this thing for you. We'll take care of you. More than anything else, we'll give you personal protection, you and your family. And if you need asylum after you lose your election or get thrown out or whatever, maybe we take them to the United States. Maybe they go to a separate country somewhere else that is a place that the United States could help protect him. Maybe they put him up in some giant lodge in Idaho somewhere where he can live out his life and have some Secret Service around him. I don't know. What Zelensky's going to want more than anything else very quickly is to stay alive. That's it. That's it. And once that sets in with him, this can be resolved very quickly. See, they don't care about the million lives they lost on the front line. Zelensky cares about his life. It's the same every time. Human beings have been at war for centuries. This is what we do. It's the people at the top that try to find the escape hatch. But it isn't just things as serious as war. I'll give you some Republican examples. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel have talked really big games. They've been all over a lot of stuff getting confirmed. What have they done? They've been on television a bunch. They haven't done anything at this point. All this expectation of Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, nothing. But the politics of the moment was, we can't confirm these people. This is going to be unbelievable. Remember, it was 10 years ago that the Democrats were saying, in the moment, you can't have Donald Trump as president. He wants to start World War III. And what are they saying now? Well, we can't have Trump as president. He doesn't want to start World War III. Which is it? These people are crazy. And the things that they do for all of us, it's maddening to try to discern between what's real, what's fake, and what's just complete hype. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey has sent a letter to Mayor Quentin Lucas in the city of Kansas City, Missouri, taking a page out of Doge, saying he wants all the receipts from January of 2021 until now about lawsuits, legal fees, and documents that Quentin Lucas has spent. And put out this quote, according to Andrew, and I like Andrew Bailey, but I don't know where this is going. This is not a filed lawsuit. This is a letter saying we want to see the money you spent. And I like it. I like it. It's instant gratification for me to read this and think, oh, that's great. That conservative Republican Andrew Bailey in Jeff City is coming after Mayor Q. And then Bailey puts out this comment, quote, Mayor Quentin Lucas has spent millions on lawsuits to undermine the rule of law and defund Kansas City, Missouri police. Okay, that's great politics for Andrew Bailey. And it's not the best thing for Quentin Lucas to come up with these numbers. But do you think Quentin Lucas is so dumb that he doesn't have this all ready to be filed and buttoned down and taken care of to where it's perfectly legal? There's no assertion here that it's illegal. Maybe he's just trying to play Doge. I don't know. But it's just instant gratification for voters, and it's nonstop. And if we could just find a way for these people to do things that are productive on a daily basis, we would be better off. I'll give you an example. When people are actually out there doing something, that's what I like. I'm presuming it's what you like. It's what the left hates. They like the game of politics. That's their deal. They like big government operating. Don't look at that. Here's this shiny object over here. We're going to give you instant gratification today. They hate it when people actually do stuff. So who do they hate more than anybody right now? Donald Trump, sure, and Elon Musk. Was there any instant gratification with anything that they're doing? Yes, there was daily news with Donald Trump. All the executive orders is one thing after another. But these are real items that's actually doing something. And we see it. We see the results of what they are doing. Not as fast as we'd like them. It's over $105 billion saved out of the budget right now. They're trying to get to $1 trillion. But they're not very far in on this, so I'm going to give them plenty of time and plenty of rope to figure out ways to level this thing off. I think they know what they're doing. But Trump and Elon aren't there out every day just throwing one more thing at us, little catnip, to try to make us feel good about what's going on. We know what they're doing. We know because of the reaction from the other side. We see the receipts on this stuff. And that's what sets them apart from the ones that are just out there chirping away. More examples of chirping away would be the Kansas City Star or the media. Even Fox 4 is in on this now. They both have big stories in the last 24 hours at their websites or on television or in their printed copy of the newspaper about local people that have lost their jobs because of Doge, because of the government cutback. They found a woman who worked at McDonald's and went to work for the IRS. Then they tried to paint a picture of this unbelievable work ethic that she has, because she gets up at 3 a.m. in St. Joseph, Missouri, and drives to Kansas City to work for the IRS. She lost her job. They quote her saying, quote, if Elon Musk would stay out of stuff, it would be fine. Well, no, not really, because you're looking for the instant gratification of getting your paycheck over and over and over for whatever it is that you do, and you're not thinking of the big picture about what's good for the country or the fact that you may find a job now that pays more, that you don't have to get up at 3 a.m. and commute to Kansas City. You can work in St. Joe, and by the time the dust settles on this, your taxes will be lower and you'll be making more money and prices are going to come down. That's a win for you. Even if you lost your job, you get to be on the team with the rest of us that wins. Nobody wants to talk about that. Fox 4 finds a man, same kind of situation, and he's quoted as saying, I've yet to meet one person that's making more money now that Elon Musk is doing this. Well, you're going to meet every person making more money when your taxes are lower and prices are lower. When that happens, again, sorry you lost your jobs. It's a sad thing for so many people. It's reality. And if I'm not mistaken, every single one of you was offered 8 months' pay to walk away, and you said no. If you were worried about your checking account today, the smartest thing you could have done when you heard the 8-month buyout was take it. Not only would you have 8 months to find a better position, You could work doing anything while not working and collecting all your full pay for 8 months and probably be in the best financial position of your life ever in 2025. Ever. And regroup. There's jobs everywhere. It was a great, great deal. Yet, not very many people took it. And all anybody wants to do is play politics with all of this stuff. I'm done with the politics of it. When you cut to the core of these big picture items, a war with Russia that Zelensky can't win, a war with Russia that we're tired of funding, and all of the American public agrees that we're done funding it. All of those things are true. It's the same thing with the Doge cuts. They're good for America. They're good for lessening our government and making it smaller. That makes it good for all of us as a whole. The other stuff is just chatter around the edges. 913-408-7957 is our number. If you would like to join me in conversation, I'd love to take your phone calls next. This is Uncanceled. I'm Kevin Keatsman on KCMO Talk Radio.
You're listening to Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM.
Welcome back to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. Tonight on KCMO Talk Radio, the entire Trump speech to Congress and the follow-up afterwards will all be right here on KCMO Talk Radio. You can count on this radio station for everything that's breaking. Whenever you want to hear it, it's here, and you can listen anywhere in the world on your device, streaming live, video, everywhere. Your radio, good old-fashioned FM radio. This is good stuff, man. KCMO Radio is on a roll, and we've got everything that you want to hear. Right now, we're taking to the phones, and Donna is up first today in Paola. Good morning, Donna. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. And I just want to say I agree with everything that you've said so far. I'm tired of paying for Ukraine. I'm tired of paying for other countries. We need to start taking care of our people, our American vets, and people who have actually worked for a living. I'm also tired about hearing whiny babies who said, oh, I lost my job. Well, guess what? I lost 2 of them to layoffs. Welcome to reality. Quit whining, get off your butt, and go get another job. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, nobody reacts this way when corporations cut 100 people or something like that in Kansas City. It fades away. It's gone in 2 seconds, and that's that. Another important thing you said, Don, about taking care of our own people, I think we have fallen into a terrible trap in this country the last few decades of saying the way we take care of people is by giving them something. Here's what we need to do in America. We need to teach the young generation, the new generation, that it's your responsibility to take care of yourself and your own family. We've gotten away from that. And if Donald Trump is sending every day a big picture message to Americans, it's don't expect this government to take care of you, because at any moment, this government can take things away from you. And this is the first time in my life I've actually seen our federal government take things away from people. I've joked forever that once they pass a bill and we spend money, it's forever. Like, they're never getting rid of Social Security, never getting rid of Medicare, never getting rid of any of these. Nothing ever goes away. This is the first time in our life anything's gone away. Unfortunately, for some people, that's their jobs, but we don't need 2 million federal workers. We simply don't need that many. There are too many departments, too many tentacles, and I am thrilled, and I think it's a blessing for Americans, especially young ones, to see, oh, you know what? Maybe it's not that perfect and safe to work for the government, because a lot of people go to the work for the government thinking, if we go do this, it's for a lifetime and I never have to worry about it. We need to teach people that they've got to take care of themselves. And when something fails or something terrible happens in your life, there will be a safety net for you, but that's not what the government is designed for. We're not here to help you. You're here to help yourself.
Absolutely. And the ones I'm talking about taking care of are the ones that fought for our freedom. That's
for sure.
What we should be taking care of first and foremost.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we talk about mental health all the time with veterans that we have in this country, and some of the issues, and of course the injuries, and those that are hurt in war, or people that lose family members, all those things. That's what I'm talking about. That's the safety net part. But these were all people that in the beginning went to go help themselves and serve their country and fight and do whatever. Those are tough jobs. That's not somebody sitting at a cubicle or sitting at home, filing their nails while they supposedly think they're on a Zoom call doing some work and not doing anything. Those are 2 totally different things.
Absolutely. Fully agree.
Excellent.
Thank you for your
excellent call.
Thank you for getting it out there.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for listening to Paola. Hello to my family in Paola. I've got family in Paola. Here's Leonard and Shawnee on Uncanceled. Good morning, Leonard. What's up in your world?
Hey, not much, buddy. Not much, buddy. Hey, the thing with Trump and Elon, they don't want the liberals don't want anyone to ask questions. They want everyone to be in the dark. They don't want to be exposed. Same thing with the mayor. He gets on Carrington's place and he says in his fake voice, if you haven't heard someone's name insinuating, don't listen to them. And in the same interview saying, and Kevin Keatsman with rumors, don't listen to him. They just want to oppress and not have a voice, and they only want their voice to be heard when they need something.
Well, I can respect the other side for pushing what it is that they want to push. But when Mayor Lucas finally put out last week that letter about the stadiums and the teams, I didn't understand any of it. It was so vague. I mean, this guy's a lawyer, and he could write something very specific and say, here's the plan, this is what we're going to do, but he put something out vague, which I understand why he had to put something out. He had to do something in the aftermath of all that. People saying, okay, what exactly is it you're going to do? We're going to get into next segment a little bit more on the Missouri funding and what they have in mind for the Chiefs and Royals. And again, I'm making no prediction on where these teams are going. I'm going to tell you what I think of the numbers and the offers that each of these teams have and what their options are, and I'll give you my best guess as to what the best business deal is for them. But if they decide to go with emotion, that's something that we can't gauge here at all. You and I, Leonard, we can't gauge what people do emotionally. What we can look at is a set of facts and say, okay, what's the best deal? Just like with Ukraine and the Russia war. The set of facts is plain. Zelensky can't stay in power, and the war can't go on forever. It's been 3 years. It was honorable that they fought as hard as they did, but they've lost 1 million people. And ultimately, all Zelensky did was get rich, and now all he's going to do, we know this about Zelensky, and people like Zelensky, all he's going to want is safe haven for himself. That's all he really wants. It's not Mother Ukraine. He's going to want safe haven for himself. These people are all the same.
Yeah, and to me, I was taken aback when he brought up, yeah, if you haven't heard this person's name, don't listen to them. And then also in the same breath, someone that's been a voice for almost 40 years, and then, oh, yeah, don't listen to him. It's just rumors and everything like that. And then he's saying what he thinks. And to me, I just think that was pretty rich that he came out with it. No one called him out on that. He wants to silence people, and that was very offensive to me. And that's why I said, no, Kevin Keesman's back, and he's better than ever, and he's on at 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's why I told him that your voice and everyone else, the average person voice needs to be heard.
Thank you, Leonard. Appreciate the call, man. You're the best. Very nice of you to say. And we don't need to revisit that and stay on that story forever. It happened. It's over. And I give Mayor Q credit, and I did last week after he was on with Pete Mundo. I thought he was kind of campy and fun and happy and joking around and jovial. He was trying to get little digs in with me. But you know what? If he wants to take little digs at me with a smile, I'm good with that. I'll take some little digs at him with a smile. I'm sure we would get along just fine. If that mayor would like to go have a beer some afternoon, I'd love to sit down and have a cold one with him. We can just talk basketball or sports or whatever. I'm sure we'd probably like each other on many, many levels. Politically, we don't agree. There's a lot of things that we disagree on, and that's okay. What I'm looking at right now is a mayor who's been in Kansas City for a long time and doesn't really have a plan to keep the Royals or Chiefs, and is basically saying, I'm on such a roll that we're going to get, the American Royal back and do all these other things. He's almost making light of it, like he's Trump, like he's on some kind of a roll. Well, we don't know anything about Kansas City, Missouri, and either one of these teams at this point, so it's pretty hard to get excited for those things. All right, we got a lot more to talk about coming up on Uncanceled. I'm just getting started. This is KCMO Talk Radio. I'm Kevin Keatsman. We are back in just a couple of minutes with Uncanceled.
Whether you're a Jayhawk, Wildcat, Tiger, or KC Roo, we won't cancel you. Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM.
So we have great respect here at Uncanceled for all of the local leaders that are trying to put forth plans to keep the Royals and Chiefs in Missouri, and we respect the people in Kansas who are trying to lure them away. I think competition is good. I think it's always good. I think it's great for a city to have the best options on the table for everyone that lives in the metropolitan area, and it doesn't really matter to me which side of the state line. That's not a state versus state battle over money. It's what's best for our city, our community. So when Democrat Mark Sharp came up with a plan with a couple of other legislators in Jefferson City, he's from Jackson County, about the state of Missouri helping out to keep the Chiefs or Royals in Missouri, this was kind of exciting. The first thing we heard was, hey, it's going to be 33% from the state of Missouri, 33% private, and 34% presumably from Kansas City, Missouri, and Jackson County. That on its face sounds doable. Remember, Kansas is offering the team 70%. So the teams would have to put in 30% of their own. That's on the table. This sounded like 33% from the teams, which is 3% different, but it's close. This is it sounds really good. Then Sharp does an interview with KSHB TV and says between 3 or 4 mechanisms, we're trying to find the sweet spot that gets the Royals and Chiefs' attention. This is where things go poorly in Jackson County. It's inherent to Kansas City, Missouri, and Jackson County that this is the way Democrats operate. We are 3 years in, and this man is saying, we are trying to find the sweet spot that gets the Royals and Chiefs' attention. You've had their attention for 3 years and blown it. The vote got shattered in Jackson County. The people don't want this. You're now trying to do something that the people don't want. There is no resistance in Kansas, because it doesn't cost a single Kansan a nickel to build these stadiums unless they go to a game or go spend money there. Then they pay it in a sales tax, which, by the way, they're going to spend in Missouri anyway if they go to a game there. It's a tax you choose to spend, not some sort of an earnings tax or an income tax or anything, or a broad sales tax on everything. No, just there, just with those teams. So it sounded pretty good, and then we get this little nugget. The state of Missouri's portion would be 33% or up to $100 million. $100 million? If the Chiefs build a $2 billion stadium at the Legends, the state of Kansas is down for $1.4 billion. That means to build the same thing in Missouri, the state of Missouri would pay $100 million, or in Kansas, they will pay 14 times as much. 14 times, not 1 in 4, 14 times as much money for a stadium from the state of Kansas versus Missouri. This is a horrible plan, Mark. I appreciate you coming forward with it. Did you even know what you're up against when you come up with a plan like this? It's astounding to me. State of Missouri, $100 million. Really? That's it? You're way short. You better start at $500 million for either team in the state of Missouri. And if you think Jackson County and Kansas City, Missouri somehow are going to come up with the $1 billion you're short, your $1.3 billion you're short, you think Kansas City, Missouri, and Jackson County have that? If they had that, they would have done it. They wouldn't have gone to a vote. They don't have that.
Doesn't seem likely.
Not a good plan. And I don't understand how they come. Like, I don't, honest to God, I'll bet if I had Mark Sharp on right now and asked him questions about the Kansas plans and the finances of the Star Bonds, he wouldn't even know what they are. It just seems to me like they put something together and have no idea, and that always drives me crazy. All right, back to the phones we go. Let's check in with James in Olathe. Good morning, James. You're on Uncanceled. How are you today?
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
Quick comment about this Doge thing. They're not really communicating the best message on some of these cuts. They act like they need to communicate the message that when they cut out waste and fraud and abuse in any department, that strengthens the funds that are available for the people who depend on those programs. In other words, they're stealing from those people, and they act like, they're just cutting the whole programs, and the communication's bad. And as far as the Chiefs go, I think to a certain extent, people are naive to think that it's impossible for the Chiefs to move to another city. It can happen.
Yeah, I don't know who thinks that. I hear people say that they don't think it's like, I know that like Mayor Lucas has this confidence that they won't, but I don't think there's some sort of confidence.
These owners could afford to build, Hunt can afford to build his own stadium, but he can also afford not to. And if you get some place like Austin, Texas, that pops up and said, we'll give you a stadium, do you think he would jump on that? I mean, I think they're very naive to think that, they'll never leave. They could leave.
I thought you meant Missouri versus Kansas. Here's the best part of this. I've been covering these types of stories for 40 years. There is zero threat at this moment of either team leaving the Kansas City area because the state of Kansas has offered something better than Nashville. Nashville can't match for the Royals what the state of Kansas is. So every other time this has ever come up, it's been, there's no offer here to keep these teams. They could go elsewhere. The single best stadium offer anywhere in the United States of America for any major league franchise right now is the state of Kansas for the Royals and Chiefs. That's it. These are the best offers that anybody's ever been offered. It's 70% free. All you have to do is spend at least $1 billion, which is crazy. If you want to spend $3 billion, that means the state of Kansas is going to give you 2-point-some billion. It is insane how great this offer is in Kansas. No teams anywhere have ever had these offers. These teams aren't going anywhere. Their best offer is in Kansas. The question is, do emotions want to keep them in Missouri?
Yeah. Well, I live in Kansas anyway, so it wouldn't make me bad.
Right. Well, they're not going to Austin. They're not going to Nashville. That's not going to happen. You can rest easy on this one. They're going the single best financial offer and incentives anywhere for these teams right now is the state of Kansas.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate the call. Yeah, thank you. This is just different. We get stuck in things in Kansas City and think, the Royals are going to Nashville, or they're going to here, the Chiefs could go to Texas, or not this time. No, Nashville cannot offer the Royals what Kansas is. They can't. Now, maybe they can offer them a fraction of that in a better location where they think they could make more money some other way, but nobody's ever turned this money down, I'm telling you. There's been no sports franchise that's ever turned down 70% of their stadium free. It's not what people do. All right, how about this crazy Eric Swalwell? I had to get to this today. This is unbelievable. We're talking about this war going on and all the shenanigans that we saw in the Oval Office last week, and Zelensky acting like a complete tool. This thing needs to get resolved. We need peace. We need to redraw the lines of where Ukraine starts and Russia begins now. And they need to give refuge to Zelensky. He needs asylum. He needs to be taken care of. Once his safety and security we'll get this thing over. It's going to end. I think he thought he was doing great in Europe, and then he realized, well, there's not much money there. And Italy's already jumped in, and Meloni has said, we're out. You're getting nothing. We're out. We're done. And there's this axis now of all these conservatives around the globe that are going to get more and more powerful by saying, no, we're the party of peace, and we're the party for the people that are our citizens. And the whole world's going to see this. This is really cool that this is happening. It was great that Italy's just like, no, we're not. And we may find out tonight that Trump's pulling out of NATO or the United Nations. We don't know what he's going to say. He's promising big things in the speech tonight. But they're so freaked out on the Democrat side that their gravy train is coming to an end. Remember how they reacted with Doge. They're doing the same thing with this war. Eric Swalwell said on a podcast that the Ukraine-Russia war is the greatest return of investment in a military exercise ever. It created jobs in America. It crushed Russia's military weapons and systems, and it crushed their economy, that they're our enemy. And he said, we've lost no soldiers in this. You can't divide the money spent by zero because we've lost nobody. Then he went on to say the war, quote, just makes sense, unquote. What's missing from that discussion? 1 million dead Ukrainians? 3, 4, 500,000 dead Russians? That's what this is to Eric Swalwell, the greatest return of investment ever. He talked about military companies in America that manufacture bombs and munitions that have made money. He talked about people's jobs that have gone well because of this war. Are we literally now watching the Democrat Party become a party that brags about being at war because it's good for people that work at bomb manufacturers? And this was the quiet part. This was always the quiet part. We don't want to talk about Halliburton. We don't want to talk about all these other companies, Northrop Grumman. We don't want to talk about the jet companies and the bomb makers and Honeywell and all these companies. We don't want to talk about that. That's the underside. He's just coming out and saying it, that this war and 1.5 million dead people is the greatest return of investment that we could ever have in a military campaign. This is the best one. It was just our money. And he said, yeah, it was a lot of money that we spent, but the return, this is just like their government. You spend money and thinking that solves all the problems in your country. That's what Democrats do. It's the same thing with the war. They spend money and believe that's all going to solve it all. It's crazy. All right, let's get another call in. Here is Milo calling us from Overland Park. Good morning, Milo. What's up today?
Good morning. I just want to say I want to thank you for watching out for the taxpayers of Missouri and especially Kansas, where I live. And one more thing I want to say is that once you retire from radio, would you mind starting be a financial advisor, sir? Thank you.
I am completely, thank you for the call, Milo. I appreciate that. I'm completely unqualified to be a financial advisor. I don't understand crypto and a lot of different things in investments. I'm more of a Dave Ramsey kind of guy. If you buy something, pay for it. Don't borrow the money. It's cool to have a nice, really expensive, fancy, flashy car, but it sucks to have a $1,000 car payment. No matter how much money you have, it's stupidity when you think about it. You're getting from point A to point B no matter what. There's a lot of things that I will spend money on that are stupid. I'm like anyone else. I've got my weak spots too. But if you just think about things big picture, if you're going to buy something, pay for it. It's the same thing with these stadiums, and I think that's what he's referring to. You know, these teams at the end of the day are going to look at the best financial deal for themselves. Maybe there's something emotional in this for them. Maybe the Royals really want to be downtown and they'll take a worse deal to be downtown. That might be great for Kansas City and it might work out just fine for the Royals. Usually teams take the most money. Maybe Clark Hunt wants to stay where his dad built a stadium and it's emotional to him. Maybe he'll take a crappy deal and stay there and renovate that thing. But if he can spend $3 billion on a stadium with a roof that goes back and forth and the renderings of that thing is really cool and an entertainment district around it at the Legends and get 70% paid for by the state of Kansas, why wouldn't you? And a Super Bowl and a Final Four and all those things. Is anybody thinking about that? When you say you love Arrowhead, anybody thinking about having a Super Bowl here and Final Fours and like really, really big, cool, massive events because we'd have the coolest stadium in America? Has anybody thought about what it'd be like to have the nicest stadium? I don't think anybody thinks about that here very often. We just think about keeping what we have. And there's something good about that. There's something very Midwestern about that. But I don't think anybody would tell you that the old airport is better than the new airport. There's a lot of things about the new airport I don't like. I don't like the trans bathrooms. I think the artwork at times is silly. I think they tried too hard to do things and say, look, we're cool. We're Republican or Democrat and progressive and all these things in Kansas City. I think that's silly, but the airport's way better. Come on, you know it is. New is good if you can afford it, if you can pay for it. And that's where we are with the stadiums. Appreciate those thoughts. I got some boys actually right here in Corporate Woods with us over at Aspen Wealth Management to know all you need. You want to know about financial planning, they're your guys. AspenWealth.com. Those are some smart dudes over there that know all about the crypto and all about the latest investments and all about what to do. I leave so much of what I do to folks like that it helps me sleep well at night. That's what it's all about. All right, we're going to catch up with Mark. I got a whole bunch of cool topics coming up next. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio.
Kevin Keatsman, Uncanceled. 10 to 11 a.m. on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
So it sounds like the left side of the aisle tonight at Trump's speech are going to turn into sports fans. Some of them are going to boycott and not attend. Some apparently say they're going to walk out. They're going to make signs, and some are bringing eggs. I don't think they're bringing the eggs to throw them. That would be a crime, I'm pretty sure, and you'd be in real trouble.
Those things
I
are
think
like
they're
gold
doing
right
it for
now,
like
too.
I think that it's for the price of eggs, Mark, is what they're going for.
Yeah.
They're going to be holding up eggs like, oh, eggs are too expensive.
Don't throw them.
I don't even know the price of eggs. Okay, so we were in a store here in Arizona a couple days ago, and a dozen eggs was $6.99. What was it like 6 months ago? Do we know? Because that's about 50 cents an egg. That doesn't seem like the end of the world to me.
Yeah, I think they were closer to $3.50, $4.
Okay, so they've doubled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that stinks. That stinks. We don't eat a lot of eggs. Well, Jessica does. I don't eat as many eggs as she does, so she could probably have a better gauge on the price there. But it'll be funky to see what happens with these folks tonight. They're planning all kinds of weird shenanigans. They're going to bring a bunch of fired workers in. Like every member gets to bring a guest, and so they're going to bring fired workers and try to make a deal and say, we're going to make Trump look these people in the eye that he fired. Yeah, because he's never done that before. The man literally had a network television show where he fired people.
Oh, yeah.
And they're gonna try to intimidate Trump in the Capitol building, right? By bringing in people that were fired. Okay. All right. Good luck with that. Roger Marshall came clean with Pete, didn't he? I nailed this. I was the one who predicted these people came from Colorado that heckled him because they were so close to the Colorado border. There's some nutty people in Denver now, and they made their way into Oakley, Kansas. Now, what he said, license plates, and a lot of people were saying, we don't know where they're from, and they had Colorado plates on?
Yep.
Love that. Love being right. How about this? The Chiefs have met with Cam Scatterbo, the running back from Arizona State, who was a sensation last year in college football. That's a guy that seems like he would be a pretty popular Chief. What do you think of Cam Scatterbo as an NFL player, Mark?
I really like that guy. I like him. I hope that he's more of a late second-round pick and not a first-round pick, but that would be a nice addition. The Chiefs, I think they only have Pacheco right now as a guy who's coming back. Hunt's gone. I think P. Ryan's gone as well. So they'll need to draft somebody. And Cam Scatterbo, he can do a little bit of everything. He can help you on special teams. He can catch out of the backfield. He can be a normal running back and just take the handoff and run it up the middle.
He's got a little Pacheco to his game. He's the Energizer Bunny. He's the guy that just never slows down. He's kind of big news out here in the Phoenix area. Did you know that he's involved in a lawsuit right now with a former teammate at Arizona State?
No, I did not know that.
Apparently they had these buggies, these carts, that they, at training camp or whatever, they get in them by the locker room and they ride on these carts and they go out to the practice fields or whatever. You've seen this before. The Royals do that in surprise every day. They load up in these carts. Apparently at one point he jumped on a cart and rocked it or it did something, and one of his teammates fell off and got hurt pretty badly, I guess, and maybe missed the season or missed many, many weeks. And that former teammate is suing him for whatever he did that day.
That's sad.
It is. I think he probably sees there's some money in Scatterbo's future, but they're following that one closely here in the Phoenix area. May 31st at Kauffman Stadium, the Royals will celebrate Mike Moustakas. They're going to sign him to a one-day contract, and he will retire a Royal. 13 years in the big leagues. Everybody remembers Mike Moustakas' most famous play. There was even a bobblehead. Do you remember the play?
Oh, yeah. Diving over the fence there, right? What are those seats there? Are they
the dugout suite?
The dugout suite.
Yeah, the dugout suites.
It was an excellent play. I got that bobblehead. It was one of my favorite bobbleheads I've ever had.
My friend Leon, who he owns a liquor store in Lenexa, Valley Wines and Spirits. Good dude. Known him forever. Leon, my wife actually calls him Bad Wildcat. He's the bad K-State fan. Like when K-State beats you, he's the one that annoys the living daylights out of you.
He's texting you, yeah.
Yeah. Leon was in that suite and actually had a hand on Moustakas as he fell over the fence.
Oh, nice. I always wondered who was in there holding up Moustakas.
Well, he knew everybody in there. I don't know what the group was. He's the only guy I knew in that group, so I don't know what exactly the group was. But it once again proves what I've said my entire life. Kansas City is the biggest small town in America.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we're talking about Mike Moustakas' most famous play and I knew a guy that had a hand on him, come on. Can't make it up. Mark, we'll avoid your Jayhawks today. Good enough?
Thank you.
You're a good man. Thanks for listening to Uncanceled.